What's up YouTube, Jay Traveling here, and today I got another video for you. If you guys remember my dual PC with two 3060s in it, now when the dev driver was leaked out, I built this PC to run both of them. They're V1 cards. So they're on that driver, mining Ethereum. Well, not currently because it's off, but they were mining Ethereum, getting roughly 47 to 48 mega hash each. Now I did run them with the dummy plugs, which are HDMI dummies. You kind of just plug them into the back and it tricks it into thinking there's a monitor signal. Now, a lot of people that do remote access also use them because it gives you a slightly clearer picture. But today I'm gonna put it onto this frame, which I bought over a year ago for it and just never transferred it because I wasn't having issues with it, so I didn't want to touch it. But now I want to use this case for something else and get this onto this frame and down into my crypto mining basement. Another reason why I want to get it on this frame and down there, I planned on moving this rig down there anyway on the 240 volt. But just never got around to it because I was kind of just lazy and it was still running pretty good in my office. But now, recently, with air conditioners running and things like that, it's been tripping a breaker in my office, causing my internet to go out also. So, time to get this put onto this frame, down into my basement, and then this case you'll see in another video getting used for something else. But you can also see how dirty it actually is, just because I haven't really cleaned it. So I'll be dusting off the cards also. This fan also is broken, so that fan will be coming out. And I'm gonna take this fan out also and just trash it. It's not broken, but it's pretty dusty. And instead of cleaning it, I'm just gonna replace the fans in this and add an exhaust fan. But this board is gonna go on the here. The cards are gonna go on the here. Now this case also, or this frame, has spots to mount fans on it. I don't know if I'm gonna mount any on it. I'm gonna see how the cards do without any fans on this blowing across them. It is going to be open air, so we shall see. But if I need to, I can install a couple 120 millimeters and hope for the best. But I know with that MSI card, it's going to hang out well over this, so I might only be able to get one fan onto it. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get it transferred over, and then I'll show you guys it, and then I'll get it plugged up in the basement, and then we'll remote into it, and I'll show you guys it mining. And I'll do a quick profitability on it now that the times are lower and things aren't as profitable, just to give us a better idea of if it's even profiting or if I'm just kind of wasting money on electric with it mining. But let me go get this transferred over, get it on here. I'll be right back. So I got the PC stripped down. It did house an EVGA 1000 watt G3, which I did have issues with this power supply. It was shutting down on me when I was running anything off SATA, like an SSD or anything. So this board has an M.2 on it, so I figured I'd give it a shot. It's ran for over a year, so I don't know if there's an issue with the power supply. It was just an issue with something else when it was on the other build. But I don't run any SATA off of it, so it doesn't matter now. These are the two cards you could see in it. These were both bought brand new, and they're V1s. But I'll get it on here, and then this board, we'll go over the parts a little bit on it. I just have an 8 gigabyte stick of RAM, a Z490 Prime Asus motherboard, and the CPU that's on it is an Intel G6400. I bought all of this at Micro Center, this whole package, which was fairly inexpensive at the time. It probably cost me $250 now. The whole PC build in general was a little pricey for what it was at the time, but it's also paid itself off in the long run. But I'm gonna get it all mounted onto here, and then we will see how it looks as a finished product. I will need to tie back some of the cabling as the power supply is gonna mount here. Now this, you could probably mount it to a wall if you'd like to, but I'm not going to. It's just gonna sit on a shelf like this. Now that it's only going to be 2 GPUs, it shouldn't be too heavy to move, but let's get it all mounted onto here and see how it looks. All right, so it's built. I got it all bolted together and screwed in. I do have some extra little screws that I'll keep. We don't want to forget our dummy plug since this will be staying on Windows. But you can see the finished build here. Pretty sleek looking. Frame is definitely cheaper metal, I would say. But I mean, when they're cutting it out just from a bunch of like sheet metal like they do, it's not going to be great. Now I will like zip tie some of these wires to keep them clean, but I shouldn't have any temp issues with it. But the next thing is to get it down into my mining area and just place it somewhere and get it plugged in. I'll have to run some Ethernet to it, But I do have room on my network switch down there, and then we'll get it set right back up here, and we'll remote into it and check it out. Make sure it's mining, because I won't have a monitor connected to this. Now I do have this motherboard set up so that once it gains power, it should power on and boot into Windows. Being that I shut it down remotely and didn't just kill the power to it, it shouldn't have an issue with booting back up. I set up a lot of my motherboards to do that, but if all else fails, there is a power button at the bottom of this Z490 board, and I also have some power button switches that I could wire up to this if I had issues with it booting upon gaining power. Now I'm not going to install power switch to it, but we'll get it downstairs and get it up and mining out of my office and down into there. So hopefully my office can stay a little bit cooler, but I'll be right back so we can get this hooked up and then get logged into it. All right, so it's downstairs. It's in the crypto mining basement. Is set up on the top rack. I got the internet hooked up to it. I found one cord that wasn't plugged in anything from when I was shuffling everything around. So it's up and going on the PDU, and probably not running too much power, but we'll go inside the computer and check it out. Now, everything seems to have went pretty smoothly. I don't have Afterburner open, but the overclocks are set in. As you can see, my MSI one is slightly better than my EVGA one. That runs a little bit higher on the wattage, but I still get 47 now. Some people push these a little bit harder, but my temps seem to be okay. It's only been running for a few minutes now, but they seem to be settling just fine. 55C on the EVGA one is higher than I like, but even with the fans being that the cooler is slightly smaller, it just doesn't seem to do too great. Now, the system pulls 211 watts in software, so it's probably closer to about 290 watts at the wall. So let's go ahead and let's check out what to mine right here. So if we're doing, let's see here, 95 mega hash. And I say we're doing about 290 at the wall. Let's do Ethereum Classic also, just for fun. We'll go down, I'll calculate it. So this rig is pulling in profit 51 cents on 2 GPUs. So a lot lower, but on Ethereum Classic it would still be profitable. Now I do 13 cents per kilowatt hour because that is pretty accurate to what I pay per wattage. 28 cents on Ethereum Classic, still not terrible. And then Ethereum at 51 cents. Now, at the end of the month, in like another week or so, supposedly we're going to see the difficulty bomb get reset and postponed until September, they say. So my profits may go up slightly once that happens. Now, the network hash rate probably also is going down just a little bit. Now, Ethereum, at the time of making this video, is just over $1,100 according to what to mine. So the other day when it dropped below 1,100, this was probably down to closer to 25-30 cents a day. If I have to estimate in profit, I'm still profitable at this point in time though. But if it drops a significant amount more, I may turn unprofitable, where I may have to reassess if I want to run my rigs. I probably still will, but we shall see. But it looks like this went pretty smoothly. Transferring everything over took a lot less time than I thought. That being that it's an open air frame makes it much quicker. I didn't have much cabling to manage. I kind of just plugged it right up and screwed it all in. The frame was not too bad. I heard some mixed reviews on it on Amazon when I bought it. Unfortunately, now currently it is unavailable. I'll try and find it. If I do, I'll link it in the description below. But it was good for running 2 GPUs, possibly a third if you mount some fans. Now some smaller ones, like my EVGA one, you could probably run 3 off that board that I have, since it had the 3 slots with fans on it that push some air through it. But currently the 2 on it seem to be doing pretty well. Now, would I go back and rebuild this in this current market? Obviously not. I wouldn't be buying 3060s to do this kind of build. One, with LHR unlocks, you can do it on a frame on a riser, probably much cheaper than what I paid for that. You can also source out parts on eBay much cheaper than what I paid in the beginning for that, but you also have to remember that's been mining for well over a year. So it's probably been mining for almost a year and a half, I'd say. So in that sense, it's probably paid itself off in that time, and I've had enough coin generated, even with the down market, to say that it's ROI'd. Now, I do plan on keeping that rig just like that. Even with LHR unlocks, I don't plan on moving it to another rig using an unlocker. One, it's on Windows and it's been fairly stable. I don't have issues with that rig for the most part. Every once in a while I might have Windows reboot and update on me, but other than that, it's been stable enough that I don't want to mess with it and transfer cards onto a rig. I do have extra frames lying around that I could definitely produce another rig out of those cards, plus a couple more I could buy. But with the stability and that it's running on Windows, fine. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Maybe even look to liquidate that rig eventually to buy different cards. I don't know. I'm probably just going to keep that one going. It is a pretty efficient rig. Even in software, it's reading 462 kilohash a watt and 437 kilohash a watt. Anything over 420 kilohash a watt I consider pretty efficient, to the point where I'd keep them. I know my 3070s can get into the 500 kilohash a watt. My 3060s are probably, or not 3060s, my 1660s and 6600s and 6600 XTs, probably my most efficient cards that I own right now. Even though I look to liquidate them off to buy 3070s, I just like to get more dense and not have so many cards. But you know, thanks for checking this video. Let me know what you guys are doing. If you guys are rearranging rigs, if you were just, you know, letting your rigs ride it out until they're unprofitable anymore, or if you're liquidating your entire farm in general, like, let me know in the comments below. But thanks for checking this video out. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more.